Great, me too. And we've survived some dark times, haven't we? But finally, clear regulations are coming into effect in the European Union. This means we now have the clarity to unleash many of the financial innovations that crypto makes possible. Meanwhile, the US, after years of attempting to obliterate the crypto industry, is finally ready to catch up to the rest of the world. We as an industry find ourselves now at an important precipice. We have a chance to prove to the world what we've believed all along, that crypto is much more than a speculative asset. It has the potential to become the backbone of the global financial system. So what we're hoping to do today, two things to turn this from a possibility to an inevitability. One, cross that divide by rolling out new products for our US and EU customers, products that go beyond Bitcoin and meme coins and show fundamental utility. And two, give the crypto community outside the EU a glimpse of the better future that's possible when crypto and traditional financial services fully merge. Here to join me in doing this is Tanya Denisova, the Chief Operating Officer of Robinhood Crypto. Welcome her up. Thank you for being here, Tanya.
Thanks for having me.
You've been in crypto now for how many years?
I got into crypto 9 years ago when I stumbled upon a job offer for a crypto company I'd never heard of before. I Googled it and fell down a rabbit hole learning about Bitcoin. I thought it was just the coolest thing I'd ever heard of.
A true believer. Did you buy Bitcoin at that time?
Of course I did, Lud.
And did you sell it?
Unfortunately, I did sell some of it.
That's too bad. And we also have Johan Kerbrat, our head of Robinhood Crypto.
Hey Tanya, hey Vlad.
Hey Johan.
Thanks for having me here. And since I know you're going to ask, I got into crypto 15 years ago.
Actually, I wasn't going to ask, but thanks for telling me. 15 years, really? That's a long time, Johan. Why are you working for me?
Well, I kind of did a Tanya, and when Bitcoin hit $1, I thought there is no way this goes any higher, so I sold it all. But, you know, really, I'm basically an engineer, so the reason I'm here is I believe in this technology, and I want to make it less complex and more accessible to more people. So, what do I mean by that?
We're ready to hear it, Johan.
Sorry, I got carried away. But it can really be viewed in two ways. One is as a tradable asset, like Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin. I think you all know that here. The other piece is as a fundamental piece of technology that could reshape financial services. And I think this second idea is really underexplored.
Surprisingly, I actually agree with everything you just said. And that reveals a big question that I've been wrestling with for much of the past 2 years. And that question is, what would Robinhood look like if it was rebuilt from the ground up entirely on crypto technology? And that's exactly what we'll be showing you today.
But before we get to that, one thing we noticed while preparing this keynote is that while we're all Americans, all of us were also born here in Europe. I moved from St. Petersburg to the US when I was 2 years old.
And I've talked about growing up in Bulgaria so much that they make memes about it. Like this one.
And I'm actually from right here, from Cannes. I lived here for 10 years and used to skate on the Croisette, bothering all the tourists like most of you guys. Unfortunately, there is no meme about it.
Not yet, anyway. So the reason we're telling you all this is because we're excited to be in Europe. You may be used to Robinhood talking about things in the US, but our long-term goal has always been to democratize finance all around the world. And what we're going to show you today is a significant step towards that. And we wanted to do it in a place where Johan felt most comfortable and where people would understand his accent.
That's very nice of you, Vlad. By the way, can you repeat the name of this place again?
I was looking at the French people and they nodded affirmatively, but touche. The point of today, hundreds of millions of people all over Europe are about to get access to a whole new Robinhood for the very first time.
Until an hour ago, Robinhood was only fully rolled out in 6 countries worldwide. There's the Robinhood crypto app in Italy, Spain, Poland, and Lithuania. And of course, in the US and UK, there's our brokerage app. And that's it.
However, starting today, I'm excited to announce that Robinhood Crypto will now be available in these countries as well. France, of course. Let's see if you can guess the next one. Someone? Germany. And what about this one? Anyone know what country this is from? Blood, maybe?
Sounds very much like the anthem I heard every day in school when I was a young boy in Bulgaria.
Okay, guys. No one came here to hear every country's national anthem one by one. To cut to the chase, we are now live across the entire EU and EEA. So altogether, with the UK, Robinhood is accessible in a total of 31 countries on this continent alone.
31 amazing countries. And some of the regulators and policymakers who made this possible are actually in the audience tonight. So let's give them a round of applause for their support. Thanks for making this possible. I should also add that we aren't just expanding Robinhood crypto to more countries. No, we're significantly changing what Robinhood does and offers. And I'm not going to ruin it for you all tonight, and hopefully Tanya won't. We'll be getting into all of these new features in great detail.
So for everyone watching in the EU right now, Robinhood is now fully rolled out and available in the App Store and Google Play. So you can download it now or update your app if you're already a user. You might notice a slight change in the name of the app, and the reason for that is going to become clear over the course of the evening.
And you may want to take a moment to download it now, because there might be a surprise coming at the end for those who are on the app.
In America, we call that foreshadowing. And I'll just jump in and add a third reason to download it, because there's a whole new asset class coming to the EU app. Introducing Perpetual Futures. It's exciting, isn't it? We call this, it's like a little appetizer to the main course.
Or the amuse-bouche, I guess.
Yes, or aperitif. Traditionally, perpetual futures have had clunky, overly complicated interfaces, particularly on mobile. So we've spent a lot of time refining and chiseling, and I believe we've crafted perhaps the finest perps experience, the finest perps UX on mobile, reducing the complexity, but without sacrificing the power or speed. Now advanced traders will be able to trade perps on the go, not just stuck at their desk. So I'll step to the side here, and I'll let Tanya and Johan walk you through what the new experience will look like.
Thanks, Vlad. So I've traded perps on different platforms, and one thing I've always found frustrating is how complicated it is to set your orders correctly and modify them.
Now, speaking personally, after having seen some of the interfaces, I would have no idea where to even begin figuring out how to place an order.
And I get it, Tanya. You know, I actually counted how many taps and inputs it takes to place an order, and it's more than 20. So when we talked to our most active traders, we really got the feeling that they hated what they currently use, but had no other choice. So when we designed Perpetual Futures on Robinhood, we worked to make it as seamless as possible, much more intuitive, and less frustrating.
Now, before we get started, by a show of hands, how many people here have actually traded perps? Okay, looks like a lot of you have never traded them before. So for those who don't know, you can just sort of break down the name. So first of all, it's basically a future where you say the price is going to be X, Y, or Z, and it's perpetual, meaning that they don't have an expiration date, so you don't need to constantly monitor the dates of your different contracts. Now, like crypto spot, you can go long, but what's different here is you can also short the asset.
And obviously, something that is very popular with perps is to use leverage, enabling advanced traders to increase their exposure with less capital. So on one end, it's a powerful institutional-grade financial instrument, but unfortunately, most of the time, when you want to trade perps, you are being attacked with a screen that looks like my old TI-83 calculator in high school.
So this is why I don't trade perps, but that ends today. Not just for me, but hopefully for a lot of you as well. Let's show you how it works. So as you can see on the screen, this is the ETH page in the Robinhood EU app.
Okay, Ethereum is pretty stable at 2,000. So what do you all think? Is ETH going to go up or down in the next few days? All right, we have a lot of experts in the room. Mom, what do you think? All right, I think we can go bullish.
All right, let's do it. Let's be long. So you can probably figure out what you need to do here to trade perpetuals instead of spot. You just tap on the card and you're now on the perpetuals page for ETH. So let's place a long ETH order. As we're queuing this, we can clearly see how much margin is available and move the slider left to right to choose the order size. Currently, customers can select up to 3x leverage, but in the future, we plan to expand the options for more advanced customers.
And what's really great is you can easily choose to share your margin across all your position or just isolate it with a single type. You get to decide the details of your strategy.
Actually, my favorite feature is how you can set profit and loss on the order. This is really cool and changed the whole experience for me. So we took the innovative ladder that our team designed for futures in the US and we made our own profit and loss ladder. So you can track the price of ETH moving in real time and decide when to take profit by moving the slider here, let's say about 10%, and easily set up a stop loss to help protect your capital, let's say below 5%. Well, it's ETH, so maybe 8%.
And we heard from our customers that they didn't like having to constantly type and update their take profit and stop loss. And it was difficult to do it on a mobile phone. So we made it possible for you to easily change your stop loss with just this swipe of a finger.
So it's incredibly intuitive and easy. And once your orders are placed, you can access them easily through your position hubs and see them all in one place to act on them.
And as we announced a few weeks ago, we closed our acquisition of Bitstamp, the longest continually running crypto exchange in the world. And now Bitstamp is the engine powering Perpetual futures. Bitstamp is making possible a lot of other things to help execute the larger crypto vision that Vlad mentioned earlier, like what you see on the screen. So we are looking forward to Bitstamp becoming a foundation of a brand new global crypto age for Robinhood.
Is my face melting yet?
You surprised me.
Okay, thank you, Johan and Tanya. This has already been a huge unlock for us. In the EU, perpetual futures trading will start rolling out later this summer. So if you're an advanced trader, it's a great time to get familiar with the incredible interface Tanya and Johan just showed you. And by the way, when are perps coming to the US?
So obviously the technology is here and you just saw it. It's all on the Robinhood platform. If and when the CFTC approves the launch of crypto perps, we'll be ready. And by the way, we also introduced micro futures on Bitcoin, Solana, and XRP, and long-dated futures are coming soon. But in the meantime, we have a lot of new products to talk about for the US.
Good transition. I like the optimism. I'd like to see more of that around the office, by the way.
Thanks, Vlad. I will work on it for you.
All right, guys, let's get into some of the features we've been working on specifically for our US customers. There are a lot of them to cover. It's been a busy year, and we've been taking action on some of your biggest requests.
True, we have some major upgrades to announce for our active traders. First of all, as some of you may have seen already, crypto is now available on Robinhood Legend, which is our new state-of-the-art desktop platform. And some of the things people really love about it are the customized indicators and the ability to trade directly from the chart.
And because it's given our traders such an advantage, some of them started asking, when is Legend coming to mobile? And we were a bit unclear about what they meant initially, until we started talking to customers, and it turns out what they really wanted were the powerful charts and indicator on the mobile interface that they know and love. So voila, here they are. Advanced charts are now here for equities and will be coming later this summer for crypto at no additional cost. We think this will be by far the best charting you can get on your phone.
And our next update is something that will reward our most active users. Smart Exchange Routing finds the best available price across multiple partner exchanges. That makes it possible for us to provide crypto fee tiers so that your rate goes down as the amount you trade with us goes up. This is something our most active crypto traders have been very excited about. And the numbers you see on the screen are based on your rolling 30-day volume. Most importantly, it's rolling out now and will soon be available on our trading API as well.
And you pay only 10 bips with 5 million plus in volume, all blended, no maker taker. These rates are fantastic.
And, I checked, unfortunately, you don't qualify for this rate. But you actually could use another feature. Starting now, Robinhood is the only major platform in the US where you can choose exactly which specific crypto holding you're selling when you're trading, allowing you greater management of your capital gains and losses. Profit is really only profit after you pay your taxes, so having this ability is really going to be useful.
For those of you with paper hands like Johan here, this is going to be especially helpful.
He's just harvesting his losses.
Sure he is, sure he is.
So another exciting addition to our US app is our AI investing assistant, Cortex, which will soon be available for crypto for our gold customers. Cortex brings together the highest quality market data, trends, news, and company earnings, with the goal of giving you all the market insights you need right at your fingertips. So from now on, if you're wondering why your favorite crypto is going up or down or sideways, Cortex will give you the context of all the events that happened recently on the crypto detail page of the token you're interested in.
And I'm not sure if you have tried a Robinhood Gold credit card yet. It very quickly became my #1 card in my wallet. To recap one of its main benefits, you get cash back for every category, no matter what your net worth is. The very annoying thing though, is that I don't want cash back, I want more crypto. So later this year, we'll be launching Crypto Redemption, where customers can actually automatically purchase their favorite token using the regular gold card, or one of our brand new crypto card design right here.
I like the Ethereum card for me.
You're just sucking up to the ETH maxis in the audience, aren't you?
I will not confirm or deny that. Now, as Vlad mentioned, all this is landing in the US first. However, we're looking to bring all these features to the EU app in the future as well.
Finally, one of our most popular features in the EU app has actually been missing in the US. And this has been one of the main recurring requests from our customers. So you'll be happy to hear that starting today, staking, yes, staking, is now available in the US. Now, before we get into the details, I want to talk a little bit about staking and why it matters. Wax poetic, if you will.
Wax sound, Vlad?
So one of the things that makes crypto so robust is that there's no central authority, and the transactions are maintained by a distributed network that's open and available to all. And part of what makes this so compelling is that anyone is able to participate in maintaining the network. You are the network. So staking is not just about earning rewards, although that's very nice. It's also about doing our part individually and collectively to secure this amazing infrastructure that we're all helping to build. And now it's easier than ever to do so on Robinhood. We're starting with Ethereum and Solana staking, and we have some of the best APYs in the market. Voila, here they are.
Also, to help you get more to stake, we currently have a deposit boost running for crypto
guys,
season.
real quick.
The current
So
offer
I'm
has a
watching this in
deposit
real
goal that
time.
the
They
community
just
needs
broke
to
some
reach in
news.
order to receive a 2%
Ethereum and
boost.
Solana
But
staking.
To end
coming
Crypto
to the
Week on an
United States,
even more positive note,
through Robinhood.
we're removing that minimum.
Did you
So
guys
for
already say
both our EU and US customers, if you deposit crypto before July 7, we'll boost that amount by 2%, with no deposit goal to it and no limit to how much you can earn. And don't worry, if you already deposited as part of this promotion, you will get the 2%. Anyway, that wraps us our US update. Let's zoom out a bit now and get into one of the most exciting applications of crypto today. One that will fundamentally redefine what's tradable and where it's traded.
You may have already guessed our next update. Yes, now is the time when we get into tokenization. So I believe that
There you go, listen
tokenization is going to open the door to a massive trading revolution, making it possible to own, or even fractionally own, all kinds of real-world assets and financial instruments that were never accessible or tradable by most people before. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this for years, including from me and more recently from some of our competitors. But not a lot of action, not a lot of action. Well, that ends today, literally right now, because over the past year, Johan, Tanya, and the rest of the crypto team have been working very hard to make this a reality. Now, the big question we faced was, what shall we tokenize first? So we asked ourselves, what about bonds? Should we tokenize some bonds? What do you all think? Okay, not a lot of excitement about that, I see. How about mutual funds? Mutual funds would be a great thing to tokenize. Very, very cool.
Oh yeah, baby.
Maybe
That's
private
around
credit?
here.
Carbon credits. Okay, how about tokenized Bitcoin? Okay, yes, that was a trick question. Just wanted to make sure everyone was still paying attention. As we got to thinking about what to tokenize, we saw an opportunity not to just do this with an asset class that we understood very well, because we pioneered commission-free trading in it, but also to solve a pain point that we saw from our European customers, which is, while they love crypto, they really want exposure to US stocks as well. So we're really excited to announce that it is now possible for our European customers to get exposure to hundreds of major US stocks like Apple, Nvidia, and Amazon, in addition to ETFs, in tokenized form, all on chain, with thousands more coming by the end of the year. Introducing stock tokens on Robinhood. Now, stock tokens are a bit of a technically complex trading product, but we've worked hard to make the experience as intuitive as possible for our eligible traders. In large part, the crypto technology powering all this lies under the hood, and we'll be lifting that hood up for you a little bit later. In the meantime, I want to introduce Song Lee, who's our head of product for crypto, to show you what trading stock tokens is going to look like. Song?
Thanks, Vlad. So I've been in crypto for about 7 years, almost as long as Tanya. And at every crypto conference I go to, the main topic is always about mass adoption. I feel like I've heard that mass adoption is 1 year away every year. Actually, there's an Ethereum conference just next door, and one of the topics is about, you guessed it, mass adoption. But what we've realized while driving usage with millions of customers to Robinhood Crypto is that real adoption isn't going to happen from forcing people to understand how the blockchain works, and especially not from having them farm rewards on every new crypto app. It's going to happen not just by making the technology better, but by making the interface so easy and intuitive to use that the technical part is almost invisible. The same reason why hundreds of millions of people started using ChatGPT so quickly. And so that's what we've done with stock tokens. We've made it easy, intuitive, and fast while keeping the complicated technology under the hood. So to show you how this works, I'm going to walk you through what buying a stock looks like on the traditional brokerage compared to buying stock tokens. Here, on the left side of the screen, you'll see the US app where you can buy equities the traditional way. On the right, the EU app with stock tokens. So starting from this page, let's say we're interested in Apple. We're going to enter in the amount I want to buy, about 100 euros of Apple. Hit review. Swipe up. And your trade is complete. And that is it. So what's amazing is that you're having a consistent experience across both apps, but the technology making this possible is completely different. In fact, if we weren't telling you that this was a token that you were buying with this token badge right here, you'd have no idea this was a blockchain transaction. But actually, if you do tap on this badge, that's where you'll learn all about trading stock tokens in the Robinhood app. And I'm going to quickly cover the highlights. First, as some of you may have been wondering, you won't be missing out on dividends by holding stock tokens. You'll get those payments, along with any stock splits that might happen, directly into the account where you're holding your tokens. You'll also have access to ETFs. Through stock tokens, you can gain exposure to the most popular US ETFs like VOO, SPY, and more. And finally, we're bringing the same zero commission trading that our users in the US love to the EU. So there will be no commissions, no hidden fees, and no added spreads on stock tokens from Robinhood. One thing I should note is that there is a 0.10% FX conversion fee when your euros are automatically converted to dollars during the trade. And that's one of the lowest rates available anywhere. So let's show you how our European app has evolved with the introduction of stock tokens. Now, our app transitions from being a crypto-only app to an all-in-one investment app powered by crypto, all at one of the lowest costs available. So like Joanne hinted at earlier, we've changed the name of the app to reflect this. Robinhood Crypto is now just Robinhood. Here, you'll get perpetual futures, zero-fee Bitcoin trading, and zero-commission US stock and ETF tokens all in one place. This is just the beginning of a major expansion of what's possible for Robinhood's customers in the EU and in the future around the world, all powered through blockchain technology. I'm incredibly excited about this, and I hope you are too. So I'm going to turn it over to Vlad to explain a little bit more about how this works.
All right. Thanks, Song. Very cool. Give him a round of applause. He's been working very hard. All right, as of today, this is available now on the Robinhood app for all eligible European customers. And we're hard at work making it available everywhere else in the world as well, of course, subject to local rules and regulations. Now, stock tokens may not be the easiest product to understand at first blush, so I'm wondering if you're curious about how all this works behind the scenes. I can show you if you'll bear with me. I find the whole process behind what Song showed you fascinating. I'll also share a little bit about how it will evolve in the near future and potentially scale to pretty much any asset. This is a chalkboard. I've been told that Cary Grant wrote on this on the set of To Catch a Thief, which was filmed here, by the way. I don't know if I believe it, but I have been told this. Okay, so here you are. Our European customer. There's your mobile phone. And let's say you wanted to buy some Apple stock. What happens is that order is transmitted to our backend. And then it's transmitted to a US broker. Now, this is a registered TradFi broker-dealer that will buy a traditional share from what I'll call a TradFi market. Now, this could be a market maker or an exchange like the NYSE or the NASDAQ. Then, that share is transmitted back to the US broker. It's custodied in traditional form, and it gets sent to what we call our tokenization engine. Now, this is where the magic really happens. So for every share that's being purchased from the TradFi market, one token is being minted, and this represents the exposure to this share. And then that token gets transmitted back to you. So what this means is, right now, every time you place a trade, an actual traditional share is being purchased from the market, held in custody, and a fresh token is minted. Then similarly, when you want to sell these shares, the process goes in reverse. Robinhood instructs the introducing broker to sell the share, the underlying share in the open market. Then we burn the token, give you the proceeds. And this is all available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So I'll call this phase one. Okay, and let's talk about what happens in phase two, which hopefully will be rolling out to customers in the next few months. So in phase two, we see the introduction of Bitstamp by Robinhood. Now, what happens with Bitstamp is it's put alongside the TradFi market, and the tokenized instruments would be listed there, just like normal cryptos, like Bitcoin and ETH. And we now have the choice. So let's say the TradFi market is closed, like it is on weekends and holidays. We can send your orders to Bitstamp. But if it's open, then we can send it to the TradFi market and benefit from the centuries of liquidity that's been building on these traditional markets. So you really would get the best of both worlds. And then this unlocks 24/7 trading, which is very cool. But that's not all. Phase three is when things really start to cook, also a few months away. This is when the possibilities really start to multiply. Okay? And if you bear with me, with my schematic, we should probably do that. So in phase three, you're integrating directly with the blockchain. So we're working on unlocking the ability for you to take these kinds of tokens outside of our walled garden and into your wallet, into the world of DeFi. How would you feel about self-custodying your stock tokens? It's cool, right? Well, it just might be available soon in your Robinhood wallet. So what this means, you could take your stock tokens off of Robinhood, control your keys, integrate directly with the blockchain. and take advantage of all the amazing utilities that developers, including many of you here, are building. So this could mean collateralized lending and borrowing, swapping, really self-custody in its very pure form. Now, the beauty of this process is that it transfers pretty easily to any type of asset. So you can kind of circumscribe this part here, and you could replace this US stockbroker with, say, an art broker or real estate broker, swap out the appropriate market or exchange. Outside of the token stuff, everything is pretty fungible and interchangeable. So we look forward to expanding your trading options with the assets that you care about most. Pretty cool, huh?
Was looking backstage, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what is this piece of critical technology, Vlad?
Oh, this thing. Yes, that is a hat, or as the French would call it, a beret.
Vlad, you know what I meant.
Ah, this thing here. Well, that would be the blockchain, in case you couldn't tell from my amazing sketch, or blueprint, really. Right now, it's Arbitrum, but we've been working on something really special. And it's still a little bit early, but I think there's no better time to share it with you all than right now. Introducing the Robinhood chain.
Wow.
This is the first blockchain optimized for real-world assets, from real estate to art to stocks, with the right technology and regulatory infrastructure needed to carry the entire traditional financial system on its back into the future.
And our goal with Stock Token on the Robinhood chain is that in the near future, you will be able to seamlessly transfer your assets in seconds. And your ability to trade will not be reliant on any individual broker or counterparty. So long as the blockchain is up and processing transaction, you will maintain access to your hard-earned access.
Very, very important. I feel that as the benefits of this technology become increasingly clear in the coming years, the pressure and incentive for more and more firms to adopt it will continue to grow. So we'll continue to work with regulators and bring the entire Robinhood ecosystem on-chain, starting with tokenized assets like stocks, perpetual futures, DeFi, of course, spot crypto trading. And from there, we're planning to open the doors much wider. So, and we've been talking to a lot of the developers in the room about this already. If you're interested in being one of our first developers, we would like to open the doors much wider, so please reach out to us.
And when Vlad says about opening the door much wider on our chain, there is one new asset that comes up a lot. So I want to pre-announce it now because I think it really fits the Robinhood mission. And that's private company stock. These are a massive wealth generator for a very small group of rich, well-connected insiders who get access to these deals early. Like Vlad.
Even I actually have difficulty getting into some of these deals.
And crypto has the power to solve this inequality.
That's going to be a big one. A lot of the technologies changing the world are startups. And I'm sure many of you would love to invest in the companies that you're using or hearing about every day. But with more and more of these companies staying private, even at huge valuations, it's just not accessible to most people. So as an example of what's possible, imagine how your investing portfolio would change if it were possible to get early exposure to private companies like SpaceX and OpenAI, which are now worth billions of dollars.
That would be exciting to do, wouldn't it? But why talk about doing it later when we can do it right now? You may have been wondering what this awesome briefcase that I walked in with was for. Well, I'm holding in my hands right now the keys to the first ever stock tokens for OpenAI. And not just OpenAI, but also SpaceX. SpaceX is in here too. If you download the Robinhood EU app, which we gave you ample warning to do, you're about to figure out why we gave you that warning. I'd like to transfer these tokens to you and give you exposure to two of the most valuable private companies in the world right now. We'll give you a week to onboard, then we're gonna release all the tokens. So as long as you're a Robinhood EU customer, you'll be able to claim what we believe are the world's first OpenAI and SpaceX private stock tokens on a decentralized blockchain.
And just remember, the deadline is end of day on Monday, July 7th, or Juillet 7th. This is really exciting, and I can't wait to see it.
Coming from Johan, that means a lot. The last time this guy was excited was when Bitcoin hit $1. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is send the
Robinhood
OpenAI and
stock is
SpaceX stock
flying.
tokens to Johan, and he's going to distribute them from the Robinhood entity to everyone that signs up. So I should caveat, don't do what I'm doing, which is import your wallet across a live stream. Because I'm a very sophisticated individual, but generally, yeah, that's good advice. So I'm gonna import. I caught the last word from my crypto steal here. I'm gonna enter my PIN, very secure, and wait for it to be imported. It's working. Hopefully the 5G spins a little bit.
Well, you know, it's hot. Even internet has sweating.
That is very true. Okay. What do you think, Johan?
We could also use the other phone. Always have multiple phones.
Let's see. This one looks like it might be connected. Oh, never mind.
We didn't even have time.
Voila. Okay. So, let's see. There it is. There's the wallet. And you can see in there that we've got our OpenAI and SpaceX shares. So, let's see. Let's go to OpenAI right here. And I'm going to send them all to Robinhood Europe for your later disbursement. Shall I?
Yeah, why not? Send 1 million.
Okay, let's see. There we go. 1 million, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, why not? All right.
Holy shit, Robinhood stock is going crazy.
Oh, and you can even look on the blockchain at the transaction ID on Arbiscan. So you know it's the internet because this would be loading very, very quickly.
It's really the 5G with all these people here now.
Yeah, well, while it loads, see, actually the wallet was loading faster than Arbiscan, wasn't it?
Well, there is maybe some congestion on the network, so it should go through shortly, and, we'll see the confirmation on the blockchain soon. But while Vlad sends out the OpenAI tokens, I'm going to show you what that will look like when these tokens land in your Robinhood account. If you already downloaded the app, you will receive the notification you're seeing on the screen right now. Then just open the app and hit Get Started. If you successfully onboard to trade stock token within the next 5 days, you will see the screen right here, then click ahead to see the tokens on your account.
Right now, consider these SpaceX and OpenAI tokens a gift from us. You're going to have to hold on to them for a little bit, but we're working to unlock trading for these on all of our platforms, real time, 24/7. So, if you see what's happening here, we have the technology built to tokenize exposure to private markets, make them accessible on-chain and off-chain to everyone. And when we're able to roll this out on a global level, I believe this can solve one of the greatest long-standing iniquities in our capital markets today.
I really hope this helps more people realize why crypto is here to stay and make our entire financial system better. To summarize our announcements for today, you can now trade crypto and stock tokens on Robinhood anywhere in the EU, with Perpetual futures coming soon. In the US, we've launched staking and a host of other features for advanced crypto traders, with more coming soon. And for the world, the Robinhood chain is on its way.
Also, I should add some late-breaking news. Just last week, the stablecoin we helped launch, USDG, was approved under the new MiCA regulation in the EU, where popular alternatives like Tether are banned. So you can look forward to USDG becoming a first-class stablecoin across the entire Robinhood ecosystem.
First-class stablecoin. And this is just the beginning of what we're working to make possible. So thanks for coming today. I hope to see you all at Hood Summit in September, because this isn't it. There's actually a lot more coming to Robinhood that you should know about.
See you all there.
Thanks for watching.
Voilà.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Lido in the stock market.
Is this the next DeFi summer starting?
Blockchain, their own blockchain. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be oversaturated. 5-10 years, every big company is going to create their own freaking stablecoin and blockchain, which is good. I think.
Did anybody make a trade on Robinhood on either spot or options? I'm out. I'm out of my options play, and I just exited my spot play. I'm done.
Oh,
That was a good
been
15 minutes.
A good long, right? Damn.
Damn. I wish I'd have
So,
freaking got in before, but yeah, I'll take it.
You know what this says to me is the non-crypto investors may be a little scared to come in, but when they've got a traditional equity that can kind of give them access, they're jumping on it. You know, so that just shows you that people want to get in crypto. They may be a little scared, but when it's in a regulated, i.e., you know, SEC regulated industry, that they're jumping in. So this is, in my opinion, huge for the future, basically.
Yeah, the whole Robinhood chain, that was shocking to me. That they're building out their own blockchain, and I mean, they're going all in on tokenization, that's for sure. The Robinhood chain is currently being built on Arbitrum. Shout out to Mutasco, all over that, to power the future of asset ownership. And now they're going to be building out their own blockchain. That's probably why Arbitrum was up a little bit, for sure. One of the reasons. But staking coming in the United States for Solana and Ethereum. Obviously, this is huge for EU. Tokenized stocks. What are they calling them? Stock tokens. I mean, that's going to be huge for the major indices in the United States and the big companies. It's gonna unlock a lot of opportunity there, especially amongst that population, you know, using the Robinhood app. And this whole Bitstamp acquisition makes a lot more sense now, when he went through kind of their phases and how and why, you know, they're doing what they're doing. And you wonder if that's why Ripple accumulated Hidden Road in a similar acquisition, right? I'm curious to hear and see more out of that acquisition. But anybody else have thoughts? Feel free to jump in.
I think the blockchain is going to be for infrastructure. If you have, you know, a ton of things going through for tokenization and transactions back and forth, it's better to have that blockchain within what you need to build, so it's, you know, more specialized to what they need. That's probably the reason why they had to do that. But I'm also really curious about how there's going to be movement from money coming in from Europe and European markets and then moving into the U.S. markets through this type of method. That's going to be something interesting to see. Like, is there going to be capital, like large amounts of capital that shifts from those markets into our market?
That's a good point.
Just something I'm wondering.
It's a really good point. And just to, because I am live here on YouTube and X too, we got almost 900 people. So a lot of people just tuning in. We got people on the space, everybody wondering what's going on. So just to kind of quickly recap, Robinhood announces new crypto products, tokenization and layer 2 blockchain, perpetual futures, crypto staking in the United States with Ethereum and Solana. And Vlad was quoted saying, "Our latest offerings lay the groundwork for crypto to become the backbone of the global financial system. A new era for crypto has begun at Robinhood." Again, ETH staking, Solana staking, perpetual futures, and then tokenization and layer 2 blockchain, stock tokens as well in the EU as well. So if everybody's just checking in, wanting to know what's going on, what's happening, there's a quick rundown. I just retweeted something from Amit too. But yeah, really, really interesting stuff. Let's see here. Robert wants to come up and join us on stage here. And let's throw him a mic here. Robert, what's going on, man?
Good morning, man. How are you? I've been hearing these updates and news. This is a good little. I've been in spaces for a good amount of time, but then coming back to this news, it's good. It's a good signal. I feel very strongly. It gives me a lot of confidence because I'm a strong supporter about Robinhood, and if you don't know, you could actually people feel that they don't you don't have access to a wallet. If you call them, you could access yourself a wallet too. Just a little tip. But with all these updates, it's really good. It's a great signal. It gives good confidence to people that are kind of newbies that want to have better interface. People get onboarded via Robinhood a lot that don't know crypto, and even for the ones that do and they want to take advantage of these new, I guess, features, you want to say, like it's a really good time. It's a really good thing, and I think it brings a positive good signal to what's about to come. That's what I'm feeling. So I just hopped in. I'm like, yo, like this is great. Like, what else am I missing? Like, I want to know more.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate the insights. And I think one thing, amongst many other things that this does, it really kind of separates Robinhood from that meme coin era, right? It moves them way further and past this whole AMC stuff. Yeah, it was a debacle. It was crazy. The GameStop stuff, the Dogecoin stuff. It was fun. It was exciting. But I mean, I think they're showing now that they're legit, more than legit. I mean, think about all the companies out there that haven't moved the ball down the field as fast, and it's Robinhood doing it. It's kind of ironic, actually, when you think about it, like where it started versus where we are now.
I totally agree with you. I'm with you on that sentiment. I think they're also like going very aggressive on like their live when they showcase a feature, they're giving out announcements. They make it a spectacle. Like if it's like what's that one thing that's a Canva, like a Canva convention type of thing. Like they make it big, like an announcement. They hype it up. They organize it. They know how to market. So like if I would totally be, I'm very convicted on, I don't have anything on Robinhood besides using the features and everything else, but I have strong convictions on them because if anybody's going to make it and they're going to make things happen and onboarding on a rapid scale, it's definitely them. They have the speed, they have the UI, they have the utility, they have the teams, and I believe they have the experience to be able to rocket ship things up and then let things be and evolve and just in a fast pace. That's what I feel.
I love it, man. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Robinhood stock. Yeah, no, yeah. Go ahead, Coach.
All right. If they're building on Arbitron and they're building, is this going to be an L2 basically?
So they're currently, the way I understood it, Butasco, you can jump in here if I'm wrong or if I missed something here. They're currently building on Arbitrum. So currently, well, that's what they're doing. What they're doing now is on Arbitrum, but they're going to be moving that onto their own layer 2, which will be Robinhood chain. So that's
awesome. Layer 2.
That's how I'm understanding it. Yeah, that's how I understood it. Did anybody else see or hear differently? But yeah, I think it is an L2. And now, is that built on Ethereum? I think so. That would make sense, right? Because they're using Arbitrum now. They're obviously bringing ETH staking, Solana staking to the platform. Let me see if I can find a little bit more insight here. But yeah. What does that do for the base chain?
Yeah, it's going to kill it. And I'm going to be competing with all of them, but I don't care. Zach from Subway would take them all on. No, I think it's great, too, because they can keep their fees low, too, scale at record paces. This is why me and Matasco, we are Ethereum maxis, and we see the vision, and everyone else sees it, too. The world just hasn't caught on yet. So I always say stack Bitcoin, Ethereum, the top plays. They're not going anywhere. And then you're going to be amazed on what builds upon it. Let's say Apple comes out with a chain and they use Ethereum, right? Because they don't want to pay for the security. It's already there. Why not just build off of something that's already proven, right? So I'm waiting for Apple, Amazon, those big ones to do it. Robinhood is great, wonderful, but to get that attention will be the Apples, the Walmarts, the Targets, the normal consumer. That what people use day to day, that's going to be the massive push I see. We all use Robinhood. We think it's great, but my parents don't even know what it is, right? But they know what Amazon, Apple, that kind of stuff is. And I really don't think they're going to build their own layer 1. I think they're going to probably build off something that's already proven, like Ethereum. That's why I say it's a diamond in the rough. It's almost like being early to Bitcoin. If you look at it at that perspective.
So, Zach, here's what I got. This is coming in from CoinDesk. This is So they're basically saying here from CoinDesk that Robinhood is going to be offering tokenized stock trading in the EU, and that they're developing their own layer 2 blockchain on Arbitrum. So they're developing a layer 2 blockchain on a layer 2? Is that?
Yeah, that does make sense.
I mean, this is CoinDesk. They're pretty. I mean, so how many? Yeah, is this technically a layer 3?
Let me clarify this because I'm all over this. Okay?
Yeah.
Guys,
Please.
I've done a lot of posting on this, and I'm so excited that it's playing out the way it is. So it's a little bit misleading, and it's CoinDesk, right? I just posted some things in the comment section. I tagged you, Zach Humphrey. If you want to kind of do a visual, you kind of get the take there. But that's literally what it is, right? It's a layer, like, it's a roll up on top of a roll up, but I won't speak to it because I have it posted. So anybody who wants to kind of get, before I go on a rant, I would rather have you see the visual.
Yep.
So when they're saying that they're building their own, I've always seen it that way, that we're going to end up with Robinhood having its own layer 2. Now, the question of how they call it the entanglement, right? It's an entanglement because this is fascinating, guys. Imagine a TradFi company that is yet to even understand the mechanics of Ethereum. And you are maybe the VP of strategy or whatever, right? And you have never even researched it. You know, maybe you get a contact with somebody in Ethereum and you're trying to understand, how do we integrate? So you see, the initial partnership with Arbitrum was there, but now they have to kind of figure out a way, okay? And they need to be clear with this, because I don't know whether they're gonna pilot the model. If you look at what I posted in the screenshot, you can see Ethereum in the middle. You can see L1, you see L2, and then you see L3 and L4, right? So, and you can see the screenshot from Vitalik explaining the mechanics, right? So there's two things that could happen, right? If I'm within Robinhood today, I'm going to start asking the question, should I build a layer 3 on top of Arbitrum's layer 1? What is it going to mean? And you have to also consider all the other nuances and complications that exist on it. And I posted the information there for anybody who wants to. If you ask the question, should Robinhood, do they mean a layer 3 on a layer 2? Or do they mean a parallel layer 2, but they're somehow going to work with, whatever, Arbitrum, right? Again, this is a little bit sticky. I just don't get what they're trying to say there. They either have to do their own layer 2, a standalone layer 2, because that's the problem there is this, and this is interesting, guys. Robinhood is a TradFi stock, just like Coinbase is a TradFi stock. You can't run a layer 2 without, you have to have another token, right? You need a gas. You can't just go buy the car and run out of it, and then you have to fill it with gas. And so there's some mechanics in there. If I have 5 hours, I'll talk this into detail. But if you look at my post, there's some literature in there that would help you understand what this is all about, right? And I kind of drafted also, I put another screenshot of, if you're holding the Robinhood app right now, and you just heard Vlad talk about, okay, what's going on the back end, right? There's all kinds of partnerships they have to bring on board. This is why, Chainlink, for example, they have what they call the scale program, where all these layer 2s are actually adapting, right? You have layer 0 that is trying to create whatever the bridging and banning and minting is. Long story short, they have to come clean on this, because I don't get why they're using the word layer 2. It just makes no sense, right? Just based on what I understand. It has to be a standalone at layer 2, or they're going to feed off of Arbitrum's infrastructure, which already has happened before. If you look at Optimism, ZK Sync, they have what they call the ZK stack, right? Arbitrum has like, you literally will pay $49.99 to spin off your own, what they call whatever, I forgot the name of it, but it could be that, right? And if it is that, then Robinhood is going to drive their security off of Arbitrum's network, which is the layer 2. And then Arbitrum would drive their security on top of Ethereum layer 1. This is why you have to be out of your mind to think that Ethereum you have to be out of your mind. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to shut up.
I love it. I love it. So I just realized Gemini just had news come out. Gemini, the exchange, 19 hours ago. They've began tokenized U.S. stock trading in Europe, and they're utilizing Arbitrum as well. So I'd be curious to see if there's any language around that or how they described it. I just saw a little headline there. I mean, it might be something to look into here. But it says, this was 7 hours ago. Arbitrum is considering a partnership with Robinhood. Obviously, we know that's legit now. It's real. To boost blockchain engagement amidst evolving trading platforms in Europe. But they also said Arbitrum enables enhanced trading flexibility and increased liquidity through Gemini's initiative of launching tokenized U.S. stocks in the European Union. So that news came out, looks like yesterday, and now Robinhood doing it. But it's, again, both of these running through Arbitrum. But yeah, like the mechanics here is kind of confusing. Obviously, Arbitrum is a layer 2 in and of itself already. But it's interesting. Arbitrum's price popped up. They're still about 86% down from all-time highs. Something to kind of keep an eye on here would maybe be Arbitrum on the L2 side. But yeah, anybody else have anything to add here or questions, comments, whatever? Coach?
Yeah,
Or Grill, go ahead.
What's the gas token?
there's like, we have to take in right now that we're looking at tokenizing all stocks. And even for when I wanted to trade, like last week, I was like, I wonder if my platform would let me trade in and out at what the price is in the middle of the night. And I couldn't. But now, when we're starting to, I think it's a big signal to tokenize the stocks is that's going to be a 24/7 thing. Just like how we originally, one of the biggest reasons why we got crypto was so that we could transfer funds 24/7. But now we can do it for stocks here pretty soon. I think that's just as huge as anything in my book, I think.
Didn't he say though during the conference I heard? Did he say like 5 days a week, 24 hours, not 7?
24 hours, 5 days a week to start, and then obviously the eventual like phase 3 buildup would be 24/7.
Gotcha.
But it might be some kind of different thing that they got to figure out for weekend trading days, I'm guessing. But yeah.
Or at least they're moving in the right direction already.
I have other questions here because you're dealing with stocks, and I don't know what the EU regulations are with like wash trading and things like that. It's a gray area here because you're basically taking stocks and putting them up as, if you would, liquidity for from trading crypto. And then are there cryptos exchanges that don't give access to certain, what am I trying to say, clients? Basically, what I don't know the EU policies on crypto, basically, but it seems like this could be considered wash trading if you went in and you bought a token of stock and then turn around and sold it quickly. Just my mind's spinning, obviously, and help me out here.
Yeah, I mean, well, from a compliance standpoint, I mean, I don't know all the rules and regulations in the EU, but they must be able to do this. I mean, in order for them to announce it today, they must be compliant on that front, right? I mean, if anybody else has any thoughts. Oh, by the way, that OpenAI stock token transaction that Vlad was talking about did succeed. He just posted about it. It did go through on the Arbitrum blockchain. So.
Why are they choosing Arbitrum? Like, there must be a reason in the way that there's a security and compliance with Arbitrum that Gemini and Robinhood are choosing it for their platform, because the compliance for things is going to be very tight when you start using traditional equities. I wonder what about that chain is making it the choice. And maybe
question.
someone knows more about that. I personally don't. I was Googling a little bit, but I couldn't get the answer right away.
It's a great question. So, I mean,
What was the point you're making?
why Arbitrum?
Well, the reason why is right now, if you go and pull up ultrasound.money, there's like Ethereum just hit 35 million Ethereum staked. In a proof of stake ecosystem, the security of the network is dependent on how much is staked. So the value of the staked capital, which is like a good example of that will be like, okay, all the banks in America are insured by FDIC. How much does the FDIC has to back each deposit in each bank? Think of it from that angle, and then ask the question, why would Robinhood want to work with Arbitrum? There may be other underlying reasons, but at the higher level, you're looking at Arbitrum as a layer 2 that drives the security off of Ethereum. And so you would think of it as like Citibank, and then there's a massive hedge fund that wants to spin off a hedge fund company, and they're like, okay, we're going to work with Citibank. Why would they work with Citibank? Because Citibank has, a relationship with the Fed. And it's probably part of the too big to fail. So there's that security element. You put the security element aside, then you think of like what other mechanics technically, because Arbitrum, if you read Arbitrum's layer 2 design, they actually were early in terms of creating optionalities that, each of these layer 2s have their stacks, right? It's like they call it the software development kit. If you want to spin off something, how quickly can you do it? And when you do it, what is the benefit, right? But there may be other hidden reasons. But
Is it a hyper-liquid bridge? Somebody's saying on as a commenter on YouTube here that it's a hyper-liquid bridge. But I'm gonna look into this too a little bit because I don't know enough about Arbitrum.
What's a hyper-liquid bridge?
They're saying there was a commenter saying Arbitrum is a hyper-liquid bridge, and this would be one of the reasons why they're selecting it. I'm not quite sure what that means. I don't know if anybody knows if that is relevant.
Here's another question too. Does Arbitrum have USDC? And I'm thinking the circle thing, are there good rates or something to put liquidity over there?
That's a good point.
I'm just glad I held my ARB. Okay, guys? I'm just glad.
And there's still time to accumulate.
I could buy more if I want, but I
86% down from all-time highs. Okay, okay, here, just chat GPT here. Why not give a quick little breakdown? Arbitrum is particularly, I asked why Arbitrum is good for traditional finance and enterprise business. Arbitrum is particularly well suited for TradFi players looking to enter the blockchain space due to its scalability, cost efficiency, and institutional grade features. Okay. Arbitrum is a layer 2 rollup on ETH, meaning it inherits Ethereum's robust security while offering significantly higher throughput and lower fees. We know that, right? L2s. This lets TradFi firms process thousands of transactions per second without sacrificing compliance or security, right? So you get the security and compliance of Ethereum and you get the fast throughput with the L2. Okay. Transactions on Arbitrum are orders of magnitude cheaper than on Ethereum L1. This makes it viable for high volume trading, microtransactions, and complex smart contracts, which would be cost prohibitive on the Ethereum mainnet. And then Arbitrum supports EVM, Ethereum virtual machines, so TradFi firms can deploy existing Ethereum-based smart contracts with minimal modification, allowing for quicker prototyping and development of tokenized assets, lending platforms, or settlement systems. Arbitrum has grown support from custodians, KYC providers, and regulated on and off ramps. Projects like Arbitrum Orbit and Stylus are building custom L2s in smart contracts, offering institutions customizable, private, and compliant environments. Okay. Let's see. With growing partnerships between Arbitrum-based projects and regulated financial entities, there's momentum around compliant digital asset issuance, especially for RWAs and tokenized treasuries. Arbitrum's being explored for bond markets, stablecoin infrastructure, and settlement networks that TradFi players can trust. Tools like Chainlink oracles, the Graph, and enterprise-focused APIs make it easier to integrate TradFi backends with on-chain infrastructure. This interoperability allows TradFi to bridge existing financial systems to blockchain without a total tech overhaul. So use cases appealing to TradFi for Arbitrum. Tokenization of real-world assets like real estate, equities, and treasuries, clearing and settlement with real-time reconciliation, automated compliance checks via smart contracts, decentralized finance exposure, yield farming, liquidity provisioning, and private rollups with KYC-gated access via Arbitrum Orbit. If you want, I can also break down a case study or show you how to TradFi play. Okay, no, thank you on that, ChatGPT. But that's a breakdown, a little bit of a breakdown. Still doesn't give us exactly what we're looking for. I mean, so I guess the better question is like, why not Optimism, or why not one of these other L2s? Because doesn't Optimism provide all these same things that Arbitrum does from a, cheaper, faster, without losing the security of Ethereum? I mean, and I'm saying all this not being a tech expert at all, guys. Just trying to ask questions. So if there's tech experts down there in the chat or something, if you got something to add to this conversation, it's Coma. Do you have anything?
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the car, but if you can hear me okay. Yeah, I think the ChatGPT kind of nailed it right at the end with Arbitrum Orbit. It essentially allows them to make their own custom blockchain, which is what Robinhood wants to do. And it's an easy way to transition from integrating with an L2 in the beginning, like Arbitrum. Like if you read their Arbitrum, like their official post, they're going to start with being on Arbitrum 1, which is their main L2. But eventually, I think they want to transition into their own custom L2 with potential KYC and all of that stuff. So it's just an easy transition that assume Robinhood leverage. And then on top of that, Arbitrum, like in general, has been very heavy into RWAs and like just RWAs on the chain. So there's probably just more familiarity with from that aspect of it. So yeah, ChatGPT kind of nailed it, but just kind of wanted to emphasize the orbit aspect.
No, really appreciate that.
What he just said is spot on. The orbit is like that was what I was trying to say earlier. I actually did a post way back in February 2024 out of a report that I think it was Van Eck that did that report. You guys, please go look at it. Right? There's something about this that is interesting. And if you look at my post, Zach, I tagged you on it. It's really good information. In terms of just looking at what ChatGPT even just said about what did ChatGPT say? It's the security. That's it. Like there's something to talk about there, and a lot of the people that outside of Ethereum ecosystem, they don't respect that, and at some point in the future they'll find out that it's actually important because. That is the core of it. Now, anything else is like buying coffee and saying, add cream on top, right? And because the cream is now what maybe, it's also relationships. Sometimes you have to look at, okay, who knows who and how, right? There's a guy who left Robinhood and created his own layer 1 blockchain, SEI, whatever it's called. The founder there came from Robinhood. So you might say, okay, why didn't they choose that? You can ask all kinds of questions, but I think the core of it, like I said, it goes back to the security. If a layer 2 is born off of a layer 1, what is that layer 1? And that's key. This is why when you talked about rootstock, stacks, and some of these pioneered layer 2s on Bitcoin, they're going to do well long term. This is why smart money is investing privately on these things. The reason they're doing that is because if they figure it out in a way to build, because you have Bitcoin, the network, and you have BTC, the asset. the network is still underdeveloped, right? There's no question. So you have to think about those that are early. And I've always said this, that you have to go through that stress test, right? OP, Arbitrum, and if you look at my screenshots that I posted, I was talking about this way earlier because I was looking at it and it was getting very interesting. I'm just happy to see it playing out because they're buying into the narrative that, hey, we can build here and this is how we're going to make money. It's like saying Amazon, YouTube, for example, they have what they call the recommendation engine. Each one of them have their own recommendation engine. And that recommendation engine is their revenue model, right? Because that's how you get repeat customers. That's how you target. That's how you go to speak to advertisers and say, hey, we have the people, we can get you the attention, whatever it is. If you come into the Ethereum economy, the Ethereum GDP is going to grow based on these layer twos. Why will anybody spin off a layer two? Because we have what we call the sequencer. The sequencer is literally like a recommendation engine, right? Because that's where you generate revenue. And I put a screenshot there that describes what the sequencer does and why it is relevant, right? So it all goes back to Ethereum, okay? You can't draw this map without linking it back to Ethereum. And that's the thing, because there's credibility, there's trust, and there's all that they're buying from. So they're buying it and they're selling it out to other people. And that's how this is going to end. This is why Uber became profitable. This is why Airbnb, you own a house. Yeah, you can rent it out. Yeah. How do you do that? Well, Airbnb created the mediation. So you just list it and then somebody rents out of it. You make money out of it. So think about these layer twos as a bridge on top of a bridge on top of a bridge, because that's exactly what they are. And so for me, all I need to do is to make sure I have a position in it, because if I understand it, all I need to take position and then let people debate it out. Like, yeah, why is it? What would make it more? No, I buy the native asset and I sit on it. That's it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm just happy. I'm happy. It was boring, but I'm glad that people are figuring that out. Figure it out. Pump my bags.
I'll also add one more thing. I don't have the exact percentage in front of me, but the USDC inflows to Arbitrum have been increasing week over week, like 7-8%. And then I looked at it today, and it looks like it's leading in inflows of 25.6 million inflow and the outflow of 6.5. So about 20 million inflow. So I feel like more and more each week, more USD is coming in. So in some regards, I feel that people are starting to understand the impact of this, or people knew about the impact of this beforehand. So yeah, the writing was on the wall. I mean, obviously maybe it wasn't Robinhood, it could have been another institution, but yeah, if you look at the on-chain activity, there was a lot of things going on where it made a lot of sense. And I really think the way they did it, they kind of killed it with the marketing. I don't know if everyone's familiar with like Kaido, but they did a Kaido campaign a month before to get some excitement, and then they started doing more RWAs, more perps. Like there's an app on Arbitrum called like Ostomix or something like that, where you could already do like RWA trading with like Apple, Tesla, and things like that. So a lot of USDC inflow. I just thought it was because of Hyperliquid, to be honest, but yeah, this was way more USDC than normal. So yeah. I guess the hints were there. We just didn't expect it to be Robinhood. But yeah, pretty good news right now.
And there's even more news to come, guys. You guys still pay attention to Grayscale's the large cap thing.
Basket ETFs, Mutasco?
Yeah.
Are we going to get a basket ETF sooner rather than later?
Yep. You have Ethereum in there. You have XRP in there. You have, so if they get that approved, the next thing is to approve the individual ones, which is very likely based on the Bloomberg guys' estimation that it's at 90%. So I'm not surprised that. I mean, how can you fade this market right now? Like, unless you want to buy at the top, right? Because when everything is going parabolic, that's when you're going to come in the market. Good luck with that, because people would dump on your face and buy their vacation homes. But if you've been grinding 2-3 years into this, just hold a little bit more, right?
Hey, you know
I'm
what?
not giving you.
Mutasco, I'm just happy, and everybody, I'm just happy that we can actually say tokenization of real world assets and not just say it without substance. There's actually something to back it now. Because for a really long time, it was just like, yeah, tokenization of real world assets. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. Well, now it's a real thing. Now it's a real thing. Like stocks are being tokenized. I just saw somebody screenshot and drop it on X. Somebody in the EU bought their first, stock token, a share of Robinhood. Like it's a real thing. Like this is actually happening. And it's not going to stop here. The train is just leaving the station right now. So that's exciting, guys.
I think that's going to set a precedent example too for other big brands to do it too later on down the line. They're going to be like a proof of concept basically too. So that's going to show, you started the fire with the fuse, and now you're going to start to see a lot of other big announcements, new features, and big things. So that's why I was really excited about this. Feels like a signal for positive going forth. So this is cool.
How about the other aspect of the tokenized private companies? That's really cool. Getting access to these private companies like SpaceX and OpenAI will be tokenized on Robinhood chain. They're starting with those ones. That is really fascinating. I think when I was reading Gemini's just a little bit there, they started with just MicroStrategy as their offering. But being able to get into some private companies by way of Robinhood chain, this is interesting. Super fascinating. There's a lot here actually.
I wonder what kind of dent that Robinhood can make in the ETH and Solana, like staking. Now that they're a big player, a big firm now, so they're going to affect that market.
I think one of the biggest reasons why, I've been saying this for a while, and this is just my hypothesis, that the companies want to get into ETH is because they want to be able to stake and have it as a revenue active chain where they're building off of it. And I was digging a little bit, and then they'll make a lot of money also if you're doing it at scale. But the reason why maybe Arbitrum was chosen is it's the second most TVL, total value locked, compared to Base. Obviously, we know why they wouldn't use Base. So that could be one of the reasons. And their security protocol is directly linked to the Ethereum network. So maybe what we're seeing is a giant push, or the start of a push towards increasing the amount of Ethereum that gets staked. And it's going to help when people have more on Arbitrum, and the more they stake, the more security that is. And that's going to bring revenue as well as a sort of DeFi building on it edge for Wall Street. And that could be the reason why they're choosing it. Yes, obviously tokenization is great and all of that, but behind the scenes on a much larger scale, we might start seeing hedge funds and large companies begin to really stake a huge amount of money in order to offset any risks or to help bring more revenue in through the tokenization. It's also going to massively increase staking, which increases security, sort of a flywheel effect with what they're doing. And this is just a hypothesis. I'm no expert, but I could definitely see that being one of the strategies here. And then on the other hand, I'm sort of laughing at the inception quality of tokenizing MicroStrategy. You have MicroStrategy, which is the stock taking Bitcoin, and then you're flipping it back and tokenizing MicroStrategy. I don't know. I just see a little bit of humor in that myself.
No, the other point to note on the private company tokenization is there's a problem right now currently in that environment where, like SpaceX, as you guys hear, they've been doing some raises, right? Some of these private companies have been doing raises. And the problem is usually when there's, Congress and the Senate and the SEC, when there's a lot of lack of clarity, it delays their IPOs, right? And there's all kinds of political stuff in there. And what tend to happen with these people that, if you're a accredited investor, you put your money into something, you're hoping that, okay, it's going to go public 5 years from now, and then 5 years comes by, it doesn't, right? The reason you're getting in early is when it goes public, you cash out, which is what we just witnessed with Circle. I mean, some of them were in there forever until Circle finally made it out there. Now, the advantage is with Robinhood getting in the game, just like I explained earlier with what Link2 was doing, there's a situation where some of these private investors are saying, you know what, I'm out, I need the money, and I'm going to sell it. What would Robinhood do? They would just buy it. And once they buy it, they then have to tokenize it. Now, the problem is, without the blockchain and the capability that allows you to do the mint and burn, you have to use a traditional, what they call the qualified custodians. Now, they have to literally lock this physically in a vault and then put a digital version of it online. Now, Robinhood, like the PEPs and the options and all that stuff, there's all kinds of structured products that they can build around this once they tokenize it, because there's different trader tribes within Robinhood, right? There are people who just want to buy and hold. There are people who want to, be more exotic. So this is insane to watch, right? What the blockchain does, the efficiency it brings, right? The speed it brings, this is all benefit back to Robinhood shares, because the shareholders are going to be happy, because if they can reduce more cost, they can execute quicker, right? I mean, some of the buys I buy like over the weekend, and I get the confirmation in my email, the next day, right? Yeah, it comes right when the stock market opens, but I just want to see it instantly, just like we do in crypto, right? But eventually, these guys are going to seamlessly integrate all these benefits that we're enjoying now, right? And I'm sure the TradFi guys are going to love it. But again, guys, this is exciting. And it all just goes back to competition, right? If Coinbase is working with a layer 2, you better believe that Robinhood is not going to go work with them, right? They would choose somebody else. And so that may also be another reason why they chose Arbitrum. But if you look at the data, you can see, right? They've been competing for a while, even in horrible markets. So I'm just happy, guys. This market is so bullish. It's so bullish. If you have dry powder, this is joyful, because you can just accumulate the things that you understand, and the wave will just come along to you,
That's a good way to put it. I'll agree with that last analogy.
Yeah, and if people are just tuning in, we got people listening on YouTube, X live streams, and then people just hanging out on the space.
Who was the base? What's the guy that says that, you like, you go where you don't wait to be part of the crowd now. Go where you think the crowd is headed in the future. And I think that's kind of what, if you think this is going to grow, I mean, come on, guys. This is amazing. I mean, travel,
gonna be
trade.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. And if anybody's just checking in, Robinhood launching stock tokens, which is basically tokenized stocks for EU clients. They're revealing layer 2 blockchain that they're rolling out. They're expanding their crypto offerings in the EU and United States with perpetual futures and staking for Ethereum and Solana. A lot of big news coming out. Basically, it's exactly what we thought might happen, Mutasco, back in 2020, 2021. That, like, I remember making some videos thinking Robinhood would be crazy not to go all in on this crypto thing. Crazy. They're hitting the target demographic. They've got a great interface. They've knocked it out of the park with their app. They're dabbling in crypto now, but I'm going to be very shocked if they don't go all in. Well, I think today is just solidifies that they are going all in on crypto, and they are here to stay.
And you know what else is interesting? I mean, a few weeks ago, we're talking. I shared a website called DeepDAO. I think it's called deepdao.io. You go in there, you kind of see all the Ethereum babies, right? You see their treasury. Arbitrum is sitting at $1.1 billion in their treasury, okay? So this is, yeah. Sometimes, like when it's like the housing guy that came out last week talking about Fannie Mae should consider crypto as whatever, as an asset. It's almost like saying that, why shouldn't Bitcoin or Ethereum, and if it's Ethereum, just find your way, swim your way all the way into Ethereum back. You can do all the exotic stuff and then swap it back to Ethereum, because Ethereum is going to become a valuable asset, right? I gave you an example of figure.com, what they have Ethereum and Bitcoin right now. So that means Ethereum is a collateral asset, right? If it is a collateral asset, what do you do with it, right? You can borrow off it, and that becomes an asset. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks it is. You have to look at the reality. What Nassim Taleb likes to use the word ludic fallacy, which is he tried to make an example of, like, you play a game so much that you think the real world is the same. No. If you think you hate Ethereum, that's one thing. The reality is it's a legitimate blockchain, okay? So if you understand that it's a legitimate blockchain, then you can go into a rabbit hole and guys, it's not. I'm the Ethereum bull, okay?
Yeah, I got shout out to Travis My Hand listening in on YouTube. Trav's been listening and hanging out with me in the crypto space since 2020. He said, I remember those videos you were making about Robinhood back when it was getting all the shade thrown at it for being a shitty app and all of this. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I think they're doing a lot of things right. And if they're smart, they should go all in on crypto. And obviously a lot of that reasoning, like why they didn't, is because of all of the SEC stuff and the just the things that were holding them back. And clearly now, I mean, this was their, one of their big plans all along. And so, not to mention, I think it's actually really good that it's Robinhood doing this, pushing the ball forward, because they cater to those younger investors. And I love that they're kind of changing up in terms of, they're not just this degen place anymore. So let's onboard all of the new people and younger investors, but let's do it in a place where, like, it's legitimized now. And we're not just, the place where degens go. I like that. I like that. And I think this is just probably the tip of the iceberg in terms of their other offerings that they're going to have.
Do you see what I tagged you on, Zach? We talked about this before, way back.
Let me see.
They met the SEC 16 times, right?
Yes. The screenshot. Yeah.
So think about that. Like, how do you eliminate
Met with
a
them
player
16
like
times.
Robinhood and then say you care about retail investors? Because Gary Gensler came from Goldman Sachs. You can't force retailers into riding horses, right? When there are vehicles running on, it baffles my mind. But it's also clear to me you don't look to these people for any direction. If you're young, you know how to research, you know how to be out there learning for yourself, just do it. Because if you wait for them, they will screw you up, okay? And so I'm not surprised that Robinhood is going all in now, because who was holding them back? We know who was holding them back. It was Gary Gensler, okay? F him. He created that toxic. Guys, I'm pissed off because he actually affected my bags. So I have every right to be pissed off. And so they should go all in. Anybody playing with this room that has been created right now with this new administration, we'll be making a big mistake, because you know why? Elizabeth Warren is coming back, okay, at some point, if they win. And she's going to give everybody a tough time. So if I were anybody in the centralized exchange world, you need to put yourself on table right now, and get yourself and just overwhelm them where they can't roll back anything, right?
Hey, I want to continue this conversation going, but I do got to get up and move from my desk. So just a real quick announcement. Anybody watching here on YouTube, anybody watching the live stream, come on over and join us on the actual X Space. It's a great opportunity for you guys to come follow the Crypto Breakfast Club account. We're trying to grow our spaces. So for anybody listening live on YouTube, I've got it pulled up on screen for you. You can see it. Come on over and follow us. If you're sitting here on the space and you haven't followed Crypto Breakfast Club main account, definitely do so. Of course, myself, Zach, Mutasco, any of the speakers up here, follow everybody in the room. We've got a free Telegram group too. We keep the conversation rolling, after these talks and everything too. But if you're on YouTube watching the live, I'm going to shut it down, but we're going to keep it going for a little bit. So come on over and find us on X, Crypto Breakfast Club account right here. You could find it on my main page too on X too, and come join us over here. I just wanted to